What is ham radio? Well, ham radio is when a pig and a radio really like each other, and no, that's not ham radio. So what is ham radio or amateur radio? Maybe you have a mental image of a ham radio operator from the movies or television, movies like Frequency, or TV shows like Last Man Standing, or maybe visions of the old mad scientist like Herman Munster in the show The Munsters.
Ham radio operators are actually quite varied. Some are emergency communicators, or the person who tinkers in the workshop, or just the casual talker, or maybe someone who's chasing down foreign stations known as DX, which is the Morse code abbreviation for distance. Everyone has a place in ham radio, and so do you.
Hams operate all kinds of radios and antennas with a wide variety of frequencies to communicate with other hams, either locally or around the world or even in outer space. They use ham radio for personal enjoyment, to keep in touch with friends, family, make new friends all across the globe, or even emergency communications. Some are experimenters working on all kinds of radios and antennas. You can communicate using microphones, Morse code, television, or computers. Ham radio operators meet on the air or in person in radio clubs like the South Texas Amateur Radio Club in Corpus Christi. There are also flea markets called tailgates and conventions called Hamfest, both large and small.
There is no age limit. People as young as 4 and adults over 100 have gotten their ham licenses. There are folks like us. There are famous musicians, movie stars, politicians, and astronauts. Astronauts are ham so they can talk to us here on Earth.
Some radio operators have a technical background, but most of them do not. One thing that all ham radio operators have is an interest in radio itself. There are 3 classes of ham licenses. The entry level is where you'll start. It's called the technician class. It gives you privileges in the UHF and VHF bands and a little in the HF bands. The test is not too difficult. It covers a basic knowledge of electricity, radio, and FCC regulations. The standard class is called the general. It gives you most privileges on all bands. And the last class is the amateur extra. It is extensive, and you have all amateur privileges.
The basic aspects of ham radio are technology, operating, and social networking of your personal interests. Or you just might want to join the fun. All are perfectly valid reasons to get your ham radio license.
So what can you expect to hear when you listen to ham radio bands? You'll hear everything from simple conversations to on-the-air meetings and even contests. There are awards for talking to all continents, all states, 100 foreign countries, and many other contests and ways to earn points toward those awards. Your conversation can take place either on a local repeater or in a long-distance contact on HF. The nice thing is you don't necessarily need to know the person you're talking to, so you make new friends everywhere on the planet and beyond. Let's not forget the special event stations, which in our case are usually run from the USS Lexington Museum ship. When you throw out the call W5LEX, you will be inundated with calls from all over the world from hams who want to contact the warship. The United States has a large population of hams, currently about 790,000. The number of hams in Europe is growing at a rate never seen before. Japan is by far the largest per capita amateur radio population. There are over 3 million hams worldwide, people for you to talk to. Very few countries don't have ham radio operators, so by now you're thinking this is an interesting hobby. But I really can't or don't want to put thousands of dollars into it either. If you look online, you'll see pictures of people's ham shacks, which is what we call our radio rooms, that are rather large in scale, with multiple radios, computers, microphones, Morse code keys, and headphones. But in your case, your ham shack could consist of a handheld radio costing less than $50. So it's not that expensive to get started in amateur radio. It's the same with antennas. You'll see tall towers with big beam antennas, but you can work the world with just a wire hooked to your radio.
In the U.S., licensing is regulated by the Federal Communications Commission, but the tests are administered by accredited volunteer examiners. You can go to our website to get information about our club activities and testing. There are places online where you can practice the tests as well.
The South Texas Amateur Radio Club, known as STARC, has its website at n5crp.org. It's a treasure trove of information, including links to many other ham radio-related sites for fun and information. Start studying, and I'll see you on the air.